We have three components. We've got KB affiliates and customers. These are the people that produce the work and the effort which produces what? The transactions that are necessary through KaratBars International, the producers of the real money itself, connecting the merchants, the goods and services, so that the consumers have a means to pay for goods and services without fiat, nothing printed out of thin air, no lending, no fractionalized lending, and no credit. So the only demand in this system is honest demand for goods and services, which means there is no other outside stimulation. This is a closed system. And gold money is the only asset class that has never gone bankrupt. Ever. So you're looking at the advent of transaction-friendly weights like this, because you can't do that with a $2,000 coin. You can't shave a piece off. And the whole reason you bought a big coin was so that you could protect your asset. But if you liquidated it all back into paper money, what good is it? This right here, certified to be true and not counterfeit. LBMA certified. We needed that in order to expand the gold money around the world. The whole revelation of all the challenges that we had has been revealed. And now it's time to reprogram our brains and click install in here in order to facilitate the things we need to do, because soon there's going to be a crisis that comes with the money. Every politician, every banker, and every world authority knows it. They are calling in their gold reserves off of foreign soil where they've had them depoted, like in the Federal Reserve, right? France has had some of their gold depoted in the Federal Reserve in New York. Guess what? They're calling it back. They're not telling you that, but the bank heads that met with Obama know it. They're bringing it back. Why? Use your head. Because when the paper money goes down, and it's not if, when it goes down, they want it on their soil, not somebody else's. Look at the legislation that was passed through the Senate 93-7 yesterday.
I heard
right?
about that.
Okay, now read between the lines. We need a program update. This is significant stuff. You have a limited amount of time to protect yourself in this fashion. You need to understand that you need to exchange paper fiat money. What is this? It's paper. It's only as good as what somebody says it is good worth. But you light it on fire, you've got nothing. Now, what is the only thing that has ever stood the test of time, and the only asset class that has never lost all its value is gold. Period. And big bars are not going to, they're going to be great to save your assets, but you can't sell it to buy a loaf of bread, a cup of coffee, or anything, that gallon of gasoline when you need it. You can't do it. And this is proof that it's real. So we have gone through the steps, the evolution. We built our routes. We came, we centralized, we expanded, we grew, then we built regional offices in North, Central, and South America. Thomas Schreiner in Belize, gaining banking status so that we can create and be recognized throughout the international bullion market, not only for gold, but to transact business in bits of gold, not in a gram, from your accounts. You have to understand the significance of where you're at. All this paper fiat money, it doesn't matter. It's moving. Take this right here. $1 US. $1 US. Guess what? In the last 24 months alone, the US dollar has lost 42% of its buying power. Period. And you didn't even know it, except that you saw that the box of cereal, it either costs more or they made the box smaller. Did you notice that? Okay, they're finding ways to do this. Pretty soon they cannot control the commodities. Two things are going to affect you. Number one, the Chinese money, renminbi and yuan. They have been holding it down from revaluing from itself because of outside forces. Well, guess what? They are not going to be able to hold it down for too long, because the cost of food inflation in their own country has risen to 40% of the average worker's daily pay. 40%. We're 13. Do you think food prices are high? 40% for them. They have to do something. When they do that, the value of our paper money is going to plummet on the world market, and expect that the prices of goods and services are going to skyrocket fairly rapidly. And believe me, when that happens, there is going to be a panic. Why? Because the cost of goods and services for the things that you have to live on are going to rise, and there's going to be rushes to the stores. You need to have a certain amount of things in your cabinet to hold you over with it. There's 37 basic items. That's a whole nother video. But what I want you to tell you is this. Do you see that right there? That is the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. 20 years ago, one Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe dollar was equal to $1 US. And the US dollar was worth a whole lot more 20 years ago than it was today. Well, guess what? Just 8 years ago, it was almost this way until 2008, when the country of Zimbabwe started printing money to pay the interest on their own national debt. When they started printing money to pay the interest, and when the interest was greater, the debt was greater than the GDP of the country, that money started to hyperinflate until in 2009, this $1 bill was worth that. 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars. That is where we at right now. We're at 102% debt to gross domestic product. We are, folks, we're exactly where they were before. And if you understand that, reprogram yourself right here. Why? Because unless you install yourself with a new program to operate on things that you couldn't do before, because now you did click install, you can operate on a new system and cope with the ability to manage and control your destiny throughout this, because it ain't going to be pretty. What do we do in this business? We teach people like this. I don't know a single soul alive that doesn't, even on any program, that doesn't spend $20 a week on stuff they don't need. They either vaporize it, they throw it out in the garbage, or they pass it through their kidneys. It doesn't matter. For one of these every week buys one of these. You merely exchange paper money declining in value for gold money that stores value. And as the value of this goes down, the price of this goes up. As the price of this goes up, it's only relative to the buying power of the money that looks like this. So we haven't even hit the top of the market, folks, because every day they're printing more money out of thin air. When they're printing more money out of thin air, this has to go up based on the thing that's going to buy it, right? So you better get started now. Now, the whole point of this is this. Fuzzy wuzzy, fuzzy wuzzy. I can't control anything the politicians are going to do, and neither can you. And they're going to banter back and forth and blame each other for this or that. All the while, you're not paying attention to what's going on with the money. Are you? Well, guess what? Do you honestly think that in election year, any political body is going to make the hard decisions that are necessary to fix this? Ask yourself that. Do you honestly believe they'll do the yak, yak, yak? But do you really think after they couldn't cut one single dollar out of spending with a super Congress? Huh? You know what the problem with that is? Every year's an election year. You got that one? Right? Okay, so are you going to rely on them to take care of you? Guess what? When this money goes down, and they know it is going down, they ain't going to protect you. They're going to be busy protecting all the government assets, period. And if you want a real shocker, Google Agenda 21, which is legislation that was passed a long time, which allows other countries to come and buy our land and our assets and possibly claim it as sovereign territory. That should scare the pants out of you. It's time to wake up and get a new program. I might be harsh, but I'm telling you the truth. And if you want to protect yourself, you got to start now, not tomorrow. You got to start right now. Reprogram this. Everybody you know, open a KB, a KaratBars International account, and start exchanging this. Guess what? You can fund an account with a simple model we have here in terms of getting your paper money out and have an ongoing, growing gold savings account, which will allow you to do things that you couldn't do before. But I can't click install. I gave you the program in order to do that, but I can't click install for you. I hope that you take this to heart, because if you don't, somebody that does not take action automatically opted in to let the government have their way with you. And if you like that, great. If you don't, time to step up.